Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Happy Monday.
It is Monday.
And today we have Ashley with C&C Farm with us. Thank you for joining
Hi,
us,
everybody.
Ashley.
Thank you for having me. Can I say hi?
How was you all's weekend?
Too fast. It was way too fast.
Aren't they
It was
always?
my husband's birthday weekend, so we didn't get a lot done.
Oh, awesome, though. You got celebrating his birthday done, right?
Yep, of course. That's about it.
Yep. That's right. That's the priority. When we have birthdays, we will let our birthdays run for the week. We'll say it's our birthday all week long. That's kind of how we do it here.
Oh, I lost you guys. Hang on.
Okay.
Yep. I'm just waiting for the notification to come out.
Okay.
Hang on, guys. Sorry.
No problem. Hey, there's a little dude.
All right.
I see him peeking.
I was trying to view the comments. I don't know why I'm not. Usually I'm missing like half my screen on my phone. I don't know what's going on. So
well, that's
we'll
okay.
just roll with it.
If you turn it, I don't know if you can do it now, but I know that if you turn it horizontally, you might be able to see it. Oh, notification just went out.
Okay. That was a good little delay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Huge delay. Give it a minute to adjust.
And usually we do Tuesdays, but with it being Valentine's Day tomorrow, we are going to go ahead. I'm taking the day off from work, and we're not going to be doing the live tomorrow. So me and Mountain Grandpa can, spend some time together and enjoy Valentine's Day.
Nice.
Hey, Milk and Honey. Thank you for coming in.
Hey, Milk and Honey.
Hello.
Ashley, I'm going to pin your channel to the chat.
You want me to
All right.
drop it for you, or you got it?
I got it.
Look at you go.
And see, usually I have my daughter's laptop up too, so I can at least view the comments. But we started painting the kitchen, so I pulled everything out of the kitchen, and that was just Friday, so I haven't pulled everything back out yet.
Oh,
that's all right. We'll let you know if we see anything in there that people are wanting to ask you.
I feel your pain on that because we were just chatting before the live. We've got remodeling going on over here, and I heard on one of your videos that instead of totally redoing the kitchen, you guys were opting to paint for now and maybe do that later. And we did the exact same thing. We painted.
Yep.
So I wanted to tell you, while we're waiting for folks to come in, you asked what our weekend was like. Well, I have to tell you, this is what happens when you're on a small homestead. You're always moving stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Something's always in the way.
Yeah.
So we had 40 bales of hay at the beginning of winter for our pigs, alfalfa hay. And, supply's been dwindling because they eat a lot when it gets really cold out. We give them more of it. And then we needed the trailer
that
it's on. So we moved the last 10 bales into the the livestock trailer. And because we got to take the buggy in for a service. So it's a side-by-side. We call it the buggy. But that's the thing with small homesteads. You're always moving things around.
Yeah. I hear you.
So the last thing you want to do is move hay 3 or 4 times, but it happens.
I'm going to go ahead and post this on my community page too.
Yep, I posted on mine a little while ago.
Thank you, Lisa.
I did too.
Of course.
Okay.
Looks like we got a few people in here. Hey, Gwinnett Broke Cowgirl, welcome in. She did a series on Gwen did a series on getting her goats acclimated to the milking stand. And I had commented on one of her videos this morning because I watched a bunch of them in a row last night on TV.
I like to do that sometimes with people's channel go in there and just watch several videos at once.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super cool series. You guys should go check it out.
I will.
It's really, it really, like, I don't have any dairy animals, but it's just so smart to get animals acclimated to things, whether it's
routines.
Yeah, routines, whether it's milking, whether it's going on a trailer, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you're stubborn one, that's for sure. But it's true. I mean, that's the thing. It's reality. You know, I know that no matter how much we acclimated our meat pigs to the trailer and getting on and all that, it turned into a real poop show when we had to get them loaded, but we did.
We have one goat that's being milked right now, but we've got 5 nanny goats out there. So we're, as soon as we get them bred, we're going to have more to milk. I'm even thinking about getting, because right now my daughter's been milking Bean, and Bean is amazing. She's such a sweetheart. She just goes right where she needs to go. She's just so darn sweet. But you know, chances are one of the other ones are going to be a little obnoxious. I mean,
yeah. I watched Katie's video. It was awesome, and it was pretty cool. Hey, Shift Kicker. Hey, Little Rich Farm.
So good. Hey there, guys. Thank you so much for coming in.
So, guys, meet Ashley from C&C Farm.
Yeah. Welcome, welcome, Ashley. Do you want to take a minute and tell everybody about your channel and your homestead?
I would love to. So for those of you who aren't familiar with us, we are a family of 4, and we purchased this property, I guess it's been about 3 years ago now, but we have only been living here for a year now. It was a year in October we were living here. And just like your property, it had been vacant for like 30 years. So it's complete gut. We have to redo, everything inside, outside. And, there's no garden. I had to, start from pretty well from scratch with everything.
Yeah. I want you to pause right there, because when people say that, like, we're moving into a fixer-upper, we got to fix it. I don't like. What it means is you can't even bring all of your things into the house. You have to leave some stuff in storage, and maybe you're only living out of a portion of the home at a time while you get the other parts of the home just livable. Hey, Jamie's Country Living and Carlene Vasseur. Good to see you all. Thank you so much for coming in. So it makes the process a little complicated, but I'll let you continue, because I only have to say that because when I used to hear people say that, I never realized the gravity of like how that impacted, things.
We didn't realize that either, because when we first started coming, our drive is about an hour and a half from where we lived to come here. So we were just coming on the weekends because my husband worked, we both worked at the time, Monday through Friday, and we couldn't even use the bathroom here. The bathroom was not even workable. So we were only, we'd have to come down, and then we'd have to, drive 15 minutes to a gas station or something to go to, it was just not working. So we finally decided, we just got to get it to where we can move in there and just pull the plug. And so that's what we did. We were just like, there's not going to be a right time at all. So we got it to where we could move in, and we're still fixing it up. Like we've got subfloor in our back half of our house still. So
yeah, I hear you. How many acres did you say you had?
We're only on a little over an acre here. However, what I loved about the property, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Here, I'll fix it. Bring it here. I'll fix it. No, bring it here.
Mom! I'm sorry. It's been years since I heard that. So
I know it, right?
So the area all around us is the people have lots of property. So when we look out, it's, we're not really looking at technically our property. So it makes it feel like we have more. We would love to have more. We wanted to have more initially when we started this. However, we ended up with a little wrench in our plan with this little man who was not planned. So
They,
then we
I know
decided,
people plan them, but I don't know how many planned kids do you meet. So that's
well, we thought we were done. We thought we were just, I mean, you know, it had been 17 years, so we thought we were done. But with him, then we decided we wanted to find a place that we could own free and clear, pay cash for, and not have that mortgage over our head, because I wanted to be able to stay home with him.
Yeah.
So I left work when we moved here, and I left the workforce. So I am a stay-at-home mom now with him.
Awesome.
And so again, that kind of slowed us down, you know, income-wise, obviously, not having the two incomes. So we're just, you know, we're going to get there little by little.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, my Renaissance grandma, thank you for coming in. When we moved here, we had my daughter who was due to have a baby in 3 months. And honestly, if we had not had that little, you know, rush, we might have waited a little longer, and shoot, me and Mount Grandpa probably would have camped out in the woods for a while or something, and just took our time more in looking. So it does, it forces you to make decisions that you otherwise wouldn't have made. Not to say that they're bad, they're just different. And maybe they're not as ideal as what you would have shot for, but we all work within our own boundaries. You make a choice and then you freaking accept what you did and you roll with it, right?
Make it work.
Make it work.
Yep, that's what we're doing. So, but no, it's been great so far. So.
Awesome. Hey, kudos and congratulations to you for paying cash for a piece of property. That is amazing. Well, I can't say that we did that. We still have a mortgage.
I can't tell you how many hours I've spent on all the home sites and how many hours my husband spent driving between here and close to the Arkansas border. You know, we're like, we'll stay within a 3-hour radius of our hometown. And because my family's still, you know, our whole family's back there. So I didn't want to go too far with just having a baby, especially. I'm sorry.
What state did you move from and to, just for everybody in the chat? I think I know, but
we are from Missouri. We're still in Missouri. We moved from St. Charles, just a little further southwest, I guess, southwest. So.
Okay. I'm laughing at Gwen at Broke Cowgirl. She said there have been times a bucket served at a toilet here. Yeah, it's here too.
Yeah, we did have one for a little bit.
Yeah,
you want to give the details.
You want to know the best part? See, this is what happens when I'm married to a paranoid man sometimes for preparation and hunting and all that. We got luggable loos that attach to a 5-gallon bucket.
Awesome. That's the way to go.
Hey, we got style.
We have the stuff.
Bucket. Oh wow.
Got the blue stuff to put in there.
Well, that's what happens when, you know, he's like, geez, you know, we're hunting. We need to do it in style.
Yeah, right.
So so you have 1 acre. So we have 2 acres. So small land, that's what we were just talking about with the hay and everything like that. And it just seems like we're always moving stuff around.
And you rock that. You rock that property, Lisa.
Like, I just need a barn.
Goodness. Because with the acreage that we got, and we're not debt free. That's something we want to do. We still have a mortgage. I don't know if this is our permanent stop, but it got us here because getting here from Arizona was just craziness. It was so hard. So that we're still, you know, we're going to do with what we can with the property. Hey, Indiana Chris, thank you. Hey, everybody, don't forget to hit that thumbs up for us. It really helps the live and the channel. But coming here from Arizona, 2 families, 2, you know, toddlers, 1 mama who's due in 3 weeks, my daughter, and goats and chickens was just crazy. It was it was 3 days to get here. So I figure like now that we're here, if we decide that we want something different, we're at least here. So it's not going to be more than a day's drive to go look because we do know we like the area.
Yep.
Really
Right.
weird being acclimated to a new state though, with like Arizona doesn't have property tax, for example. So the whole concept, do you have to pay property tax in South Dakota, Lisa? So the whole concept of telling people what we have so they can tax us just because we own it is just, who voted for this? Like,
Hey, we lived in Connecticut where the joke is always about Massachusetts. They call it Taxachusetts, but
uh-huh.
Connecticut, oh my word.
Them
You pay
too?
property tax, you pay asset tax on your vehicles.
So it's asset, because when they say property here in Missouri, Lisa, they're talking about, do you have vehicles? Do you have a lawnmower? Do you like, even it's ridiculous. I'm thinking, yeah, and what business is it of yours? This is so weird. Like, why?
And property tax in Connecticut, like that doesn't go by. So like, we drove older vehicles. And so, they go by Blue Book value. They don't go by what it's really worth. Like, so if you have 500,000 miles on something, they're telling you, geez, so true. So true.
Definitely.
Yeah, no worries,
Hey, Chuck.
Janice. It just went out. It's
Hey,
so
Chuck.
late.
It is.
Hey,
gone.
Glenda.
Hey, Linda and Chuck.
Hey there. Thank you all for joining us. Hey, Gail.
Hey, Gail. Hey, Indiana Chris.
So,
Ashley, tell us a little bit about what you got going on over there. So you've been there for over a year.
yes. So, you name it, we have it going. And that's probably one of my problems.
Yes, I hear you on that one.
I have, a project here, project there. If it's nice outside, I'll start this project outside. And then, Missouri weather, the next day we could have snow and you're in, then your project sits for 3 days. So
Yeah.
Right.
Trying to focus.
Pretty nice though.
Focus
Honestly,
more.
The snow melts. It's freaking awesome when the snow melts. When the snow melts and it's like 50 and 60 degrees. We even had a 60-degree day in the winter. And I think that is just a wonderful thing. But yes, it does interrupt what you're doing, but versus where we come from. And it was just when winter started, hang it up, folks. You're going to see, you'll see the ground. I mean, it might melt here and there, but you still had piles of snow in places. So very nice. Yeah. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's supposed to actually get up to 60 here, I think, this week. So we're supposed to be in the 60s.
We have been loving it.
So it should be really nice.
Here, Ashley, I've got something for you. I saw this morning and I related to it. It was a meme. And it says, me, I'm so overwhelmed. Also me, I want chicks to expand my garden, bake bread, get bees, cook all our food from scratch, and make my own butter.
Yeah, that is great. That is great.
Yep. Oh, I got to share something I read this weekend. As I'm unpacking stuff, because some of the things I had in storage that I haven't seen in 3 years because I knew we were going to move when we moved. And anyways, I'm pulling these books out, and one of them was on King Solomon. And in this book, it was basically a book on, being successful, right? And so I like those. I at least used to, and I haven't read them in a long time, about the motivational books and things. So I really intended to read this one, and it just so happens that I stopped at the chapter where it's talking about how they suggest setting up goals. And I was like, I'm going to check out this chapter, see if I want to finish reading this book or just, give it away or something.
Right.
But the next chapter, it said you should write down your big dream and make sure that it's quantifiable. So like, I would love for us to only have to spend X $100 on groceries every month, right? And then underneath that, you put down what your goals are to get that dream. So then the goals would be like meat animals, gardening, and canning, right? Like, or food preservation. And those are your goals. And then it says, take each of those goals and write it on a blank piece of paper, and then write down the steps to get that goal. So like, I still got to buy a pressure canner. I keep putting it off because I'm purchasing something else. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this now. I'll get that later. But even with the garden, like start your seeds. So then you've got your steps on and goals and steps on a different sheet of paper. And then you can add on to those steps and kind of break them down on a week by week thing. I thought it was the coolest way to do it. And I've done, goal setting a bunch of different ways. And we like the 7Fs here just because it kind of keeps you balanced. If you think about all those things, the faith, family, fun, fitness, keep them in your mind as you're looking at your goals, but still, what is your dream? And then the goals to achieve that dream. I thought it was really cool. So
I wanted to say that Life with Linda and Chuck said, "Hey, little man." So I'm assuming that's to your little man, Ashley.
He's running in and out.
Yeah, and Chuck I got a funny one here because Chuck said, wait a minute, goal, find book where I wrote goals in. Chuck, you want to know what my goals are this year? I don't want to set any goals for this year.
Yeah.
Because we have been hitting it hard the past 3 years. And this year,
it's all about fun. It's all about fun.
3 notebooks, and I still can't get organized and get everything done.
You have kids.
Just make one of them be a garden.
Yep.
And here's what Broke Cowgirl, she said she put stuff in storage. Yeah. And then moved into a smaller place 7 years later. Yeah. So Gwen, let me tell you, I've been doing the same. I told my husband, next time we move, I'm not taking anything except for, grandma's keepsakes, the keepsake things, everything else, let it go. But although I am glad I did have some stuff just because everything is so dang expensive now. It's ridiculous.
We decided we can't move. It's too much. Mm-hmm. It'll be the worst ever.
It's so much. And if and when we move again, because I can't help but feeling like we probably will, just because anyways, I won't get into it, but it is so much to move. But if you're moving states away, it makes it even worse, which I know you mentioned if you had polar freezes all the time, like we did not too long ago, that you'd be like, peace out, South Dakota.
But then the polar freeze passes and I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know. I just couldn't imagine.
Because it would be states. And let me tell you, moving states is horrible.
I've done it twice.
Oh my goodness.
No, wait. Yeah, twice moving states.
Yeah.
Well, three.
Yeah. And then it takes a while for you.
Look at Ashley's face. She's like, ew.
Yeah. It takes a while for you to feel like wherever you are is home. You know what I mean?
Bye, Jamie.
We almost still feel like visitors.
When we moved in here, now my husband and I have moved probably, all within the same city until now. This is probably our 4th move since we've been married. Mm-hmm. But when we moved into this place, it was Halloween and we had rented the biggest U-Haul. We couldn't find anybody to come help us, and it was pouring down rain. Mm-hmm. So after that, I was like, I'm not moving again. And if we do, we're gonna hire renters, or movers. I'm never ever doing this again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Okay. We had movers because it was paid for when we moved out here. Mm-hmm. We didn't pay for it.
That's awesome.
Let me tell you something. Well, we packed it up. They loaded the truck and brought it out here. Mm-hmm. That was a whole fiasco. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you. And I got people's stuff. People got my stuff.
My
stuff gets damaged. It's not all it's cracked up to be. Now we packed it all because we had a limited budget. But like I said, because of the move to South Dakota, the company had paid for us to move out here. That was part of the deal. But the only way we would ever move now is if we could maintain this property and move slowly.
Yes, that's what we've talked about. Like that is how we would do it if we had to do it again. Yeah. So Ashley, you've got all these different plans this year. Do you want to kind of speak to what those are?
Sure, I would love to. So definitely, we're expanding the garden. We've already started that process. So that's already in the works. We have purchased our items to build our chicken coop, but we have not started on that yet. So we're hoping in the next few weeks we can get our chicken coop up. And then after that, we're going to be kind of at a standstill until we do some clearing. The whole back half of our property where we want to put either 2 feeder pigs or a couple goats. We're still up in the air about that, which it's going to be. It's just overrun by it's a little berry bush. It's not huckleberry. I don't know. They're all over Missouri, but they just do what?
Is it blackberry?
No, they're a poisonous berry that they just overtake your. Yeah, they're hard to get rid of is what I'm hearing.
Really?
I'm hearing you have to like either rip them out from the roots or cut them off and paint them with some kind of stuff to keep them from coming back. So because we trimmed them when we first bought the property before we realized what they were, and that just ignited them. That just because they probably hadn't been trimmed in ever, and they just took off. So once we realized what they were, we're like, oh, bad move. We've got a lot of work on our hands now. So that's a huge project. And then of course, we're always ongoing renovations with the house. So that's never ending.
It is. I hear you on that. Hey, Stuart's prepping. Thank you for coming in.
Yeah, I hate moving too.
Yeah, Chuck, it's moving is really hard. It was really hard. For the garden,
how long ago
just September.
Just September? Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I feel you.
I still have boxes. Well, I now have boxes in the living room because we just got more out of storage. So kind of bring them in, empty them, try to organize as I can. But I officially have use of another room this weekend. So I am super excited about that.
Yeah. Mark at Little Ridge Farms said, Ashley, he was connected and apparently lost it. So he's connected again.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Ashley can't see the chat, so we're just trying to make sure we get her all the info.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I can't for this. I'm not sure what's going on, but whatever. But yeah, so we're all kind of, in the same boat.
We are
still renovating. You're always rearranging, which is kind of like renovating because you're constantly moving. And that's how I'm going to be just like that. Once we get everything settled, our chickens I'm going to be in the same way because we've got the same, almost, the same property kind of to work with. So it's going to be, like you said, a constant moving, how this could work better here. This might work better here.
Yep. We did our pig pen because our plans changed. We started with meat pigs and then got the Kuni pigs, and that just kept growing and growing. So we started with we built a barn, we put in a pen area, and then we decided to add 3 pastures on the back part of the property, and then decided to get the breeding, decided to do 2 sets of breeders because we like having our pigs together. And so it just kept changing from there. And then you add the little ones. The little ones can't go in with the big ones yet. So they need an area, and that area needs to be a little different. So we finally got the setup. And that's what I was saying about no goals this year. Of course I have goals, but what I'm saying is after 3 years of go and build, this year we're kind of just flying by the seat of our pants because we're going to look at the spring and see if we can swing a barn financially. Quite honestly, if it comes down to a greenhouse or a barn, the barn is going first. I will forego the greenhouse this year because we need something for farrowing and things like that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be so exciting. We're
Don't
gonna
worry,
get
I know him. He's not a stranger.
we're gonna be ordering our meat birds soon.
Where are you ordering him from?
I was gonna get them from. It starts with a H.
Hoover's?
Yes. Yep. I had heard you talk about them on a live.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
check them out. So that's where I was going to get them from.
Yeah. And Broke Cowgirl, yeah, we have feed storage. We use the garage for because the pig feed we buy a pallet at a time. And so we put that hay storage. It's been working out good underneath the awning with we have an 18-wheeler tarp that we cover it with. But I really want it. I mean, obviously we would build it to include those two things, but we really want it for the pigs at least, because we want to have an area, like if we're out there in the middle of the night farrowing and, have the piglets inside of a barn as well as the pigs, the adult pigs, when it's really cold out.
Yeah. Where to begin homestead. Going to learn to make soap, build new secure chicken run, start a vegetable stand. Very awesome.
Yeah.
Those are great goals.
Yeah. Gwen, I would order your meat birds sooner than later. I'm hearing a lot from people. I don't have firsthand experience yet, but
yeah, I was hearing stuff too, and hearing that the prices were going way high, and we were going to purchase from Cackle Hatchery because it's like an hour and 15 minutes from us. So we were just going to make the drive and go pick the birds up ourselves.
Is it like north of you?
It's south of us, west of us, I think. We were just going to go and do that. And when I was looking online, their prices, I mean, might have gone up a little bit compared to last year, but for the most part, they were around the same as still from last year. So like you, I've been hearing stuff that they're going to go crazy with prices, but I have not seen that yet.
I haven't heard the price so much. I've heard more about
availability,
delays and availability.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for chick days. I mean, we can hatch them here, but I'm waiting for chick days at a local store because they usually have a very large selection, super large selection. And the whole back of the store is full of them. And we were just going to go snatch up as many layers and meat birds as we could.
Right.
Oh, maybe I need to check with our local places because there's a couple of them, and ask about when they get them in and if they get the meat birds in. I really want to get the meat birds, the Cornish cross hens, because I want them to not survive unless I process them. My logic behind this is there's no getting out of it. There's no keeping these birds. We've got to process them before they die. And since I've never processed an animal before, other than a deer, I've helped my husband process a deer.
Well, there you go.
So I'm feeling like if I start with those, then I'll be good.
Chuck.
No getting out of it.
Chuck said the microwave kicked him out. He said, y'all repeat what you said for the last 4 minutes. I like that he thinks we remember it.
Right?
Right.
Meat birds.
That's reasonable.
Each. Yeah.
I'll have to call places because I never looked into it last year because I didn't, honestly didn't waste the time because we weren't ready for chickens last year. So, but yeah, there's a feed stores around here. That's a good idea. I honestly never even thought of that.
Yeah, but if you can get them from Cackle, I mean, that's not too far. Like if I had a hatchery nearby, I'd drive to it.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's good to get them from the hatchery.
All right.
We use the feed store because we're not, the closest hatcheries are in Iowa. And we're in South Dakota. So, and then mail order I'm not fond of because it hasn't worked well for us. Because even like I know Rich at the Old Swedes Farm, he's talked about how the hatchery takes a truck and delivers the chicks to his feed store. whereas ours get mail ordered to our feed store an hour away. And I know they came on the coldest night of the year, and this time of the year, you just never know. And we lost too
Right.
many birds. So I'm kind of like skittish about doing that again. So that's why.
Yeah, I get that.
What kind of setup do you all raise your new meat birds? We treat them like layer head. Well, I shouldn't say that. We have them in a brooder. They get chick starter, just like laying hens would. And then when they're fully feathered, they get moved outside. We put ours in a meat pen. And I know the biggest thing for us that we learned was that they needed to be, the more you get, you better have a lot of water and feeders out there, because those Cornish cross are like Jabba the Hutt. They'll just sit at the feeder, and they will eat. And for us, we found that we had less uniform sizes the first time we raised them. The second time we raised them, we had more uniform sizes.
How many feeders, like, would you say for every 4 chicks, 1 feeder? Is that, how did you guys do the math on that?
I don't know, because Ryan did a very long PVC feeder for the meat birds, and we had 36 of them. He did a very long one, and then we had a very large round feeder. And that seemed
they could all go over there and hang out.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Now, the difference was we did not have all Cornish cross. I think if we had all Cornish cross, I think we'll probably build another PVC feeder, because they are the ones that tend to just sit at the feeder, whereas the other birds, like the Red Rangers, don't as much. Because we had Royal Gray broilers, Red Rangers, and Red Rangers, and we had Cornish cross.
Yeah. Hey, for those Cornish crosses, so we're just going to, and to answer Milk and Honey, what we're going to do is just build another coop. I mean, our coop is going to be the same. When I bring them home as a baby, I don't know what everyone else does, but for me, they're going to go in a box. As they get larger, I'll upgrade. But the little chicks, we've always started our baby chicks in like a big box. I got plenty of those.
Yeah.
And then when they're at the teenager stage, is what we always call them, as teenagers, we send them outside. But I had one question. So Lisa, like, as far as like their bedding area, these little, I've never owned, we've had all kinds of chickens, my goodness, in the past, but I've never had the meat birds. I know that they get so fat they can't really fly around. Do you make like lower boxes for them?
What do you mean boxes?
Well, like for them to roost, or areas for them to roost. They don't.
I don't give meat birds roost.
I guess, but they don't roost. They just stay on the ground.
Yep. I make sure they have dry housing.
Huh. Okay.
They're so fat they waddle.
Yeah.
What's that?
We were just going to put ours in a tractor. That's all they were going to get, and just get them moved around each day.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. A lot of people do tractors, and it works well. We don't have the even ground for that.
We don't have,
or the grass, so we build like a meat bird pen. Tammy, I'll send you a picture, but we have our meat bird pen from last year that we built, and we just have a dry house for them. The biggest thing is changing the bedding out. Because
so definitely like a roof to make sure that it all stays, like they have their housing,
like a 3-sided with an overhang.
Okay.
But I mean, the biggest thing is bedding, because they will go to the bathroom like Olympic champions.
Because they eat so much, huh?
Right.
Oh, here's another good question from Milk and Honey. Do you feed them all once a day or twice a day?
I let them free feed. I want them to get as fat as they can get for the time that they're here, because as soon as they reach their peak and they look like they're good weights, we let them go. I don't skimp on the feed when it comes to them. I want them to eat.
Hey, Jasper Pudding Face and Heroic Prepper. Good to see you all. I'm going to share another comment here by Where to Begin Homestead. Love to see a hatchery tour. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I thought about that. So maybe we will just go and pick our chicks up. Kill two birds with one stone, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why I'm going because I'm trying to look for Morans, but the,
Good to
been
know.
trying to find somebody local who's got because I heard that if you get Morans from the hatcheries, the eggs are not as dark. So I've been trying to find
Mhm.
someone local to barter with, but no luck yet.
Yeah.
Because I'll hatch them. I've got the incubator.
Mhm. Awesome. Yeah, I heard some people were getting
One
some
more.
different kinds of chickens that do get large, and then who was it that I was watching? Basically every other year we would buy one type of chicken one year, and then the next year they'd get another kind of chicken breed, and then the year that they got that kind of chicken breed, the previous years would be harvested, and then they just kind of keep rotating it that way, and process those chickens on an every other year basis. And we're saying that they like to do that instead of the meat birds because they can actually reproduce once they have them like
Okay.
that. You can get them to lay. Is that how you're thinking of doing it, Lisa? Or are you going to do meat birds?
I'm gonna do meat birds.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do meat birds, and I'm gonna get some laying hens.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think we've decided we were gonna get like 10 more because our original girls are 3 years old now. So
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, 3 years old. So I like to add some fun ones in there, but I really like the power layers. But like
Mm-hmm.
I like to add the rainbow in if I can
Yeah.
because it's fun.
Yeah. Do you all have chickens yet, Ashley? Do you want to talk? I know you were talking about
Um,
everything you want to do in terms of animals. Do you want to share with us one more time what your plans are for the animals this year for you?
yeah, we have purchased our items to build our coop. So
Mm-hmm.
we hopefully, whether how the weather holds out on the weekends here, we can get that done.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, After we get the chickens, I'm hoping next spring we could get some feeder pigs too as well. But for sure, I want to get the chickens established and make sure we are good to go on that, so that way I don't get overwhelmed and jump into too many things at one time. I know it's only two animals, but for us and have never had animals or farm animals of any sorts, it's a whole new ball game for us.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to oh, I want this, I want this, I want this, and then get burnt out
Yeah,
or in
I've
over
heard
our heads,
chickens are such a
all of
good.
that. So,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
so yeah,
chickens
we're
are.
doing chickens, and then I'm thinking the feeder pigs, and then maybe a couple goats, but for sure chickens and some feeder pigs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are, especially Norman.
I
He's
love Norman.
cute. I do too.
He sits for his supper and his breakfast.
That is so awesome.
So funny.
We wanted to do the pigs also, but Lisa brought up a good point about just making sure you have all your shelter built, and
Right.
yeah, and with every so I'm treading carefully with the pigs because I want to make sure we have the space for them.
You do.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
have
I didn't
woods.
think we did
The
either.
woods, we do, and
Yeah.
I know right where I want to put it. So I've got to get Mountain Grandpa out there to build the thing for me.
What
I
were you
could
going to
build
say,
Yeah, you
Ashley?
got room.
it myself, but
Oh, I was just gonna say she's got plenty of room because I didn't think we would have room, and we were told differently. They're like, no, you guys have plenty of room for a couple pigs. So
yeah. Well,
we're
not
actually
room,
using
shelter. That's what I'm. Yeah. So I
yeah,
know the room, but I mean this
okay,
a
shelter. Okay,
shelter for them. Yeah, that's what we've got to get the shelter in place before I get them.
What were you told,
go ahead.
Ashley, about the pigs?
We were told that we did not think we had enough space because we only have a little over the acres, but we were told no, you're wrong. You have plenty of space for them. So we have there's an old shed, your basic old school sliding metal door shed, that's already on the property. I don't it's there's nothing in there, but it's just, again, it's in that area that's overgrown with all of the stuff. So my plan is to use that as their shelter and to fence around that and put the straw and everything, inside of that. That way I can still close the doors if we need to. So that's my thinking, but we'll see how that plays out.
The biggest thing you'd have to worry about is summertime with the heat. Like, I know the doors would be open, but you would need to have some kind of ventilation because
Okay.
metal sheds get really, really hot even with the doors open.
Okay.
So you would want to
It
make
is
sure you have
luckily
something.
Okay, we could put some mock windows or something. It is luckily completely shaded, so that is at least it's
Nice.
completely shaded. But still, it will heat up.
Yeah.
We don't want our bacon sooner than later. So.
And like Broke Cowgirl was saying, like they pigs are super strong. So I know one of the things that we did, because we built a pig barn, and Ryan bought rough cut lumber, which was a lot cheaper at the time. Lumber was expensive, from a local sawmill, because it's all covered, so it's not going to rot in the elements. And so one of the things that he did was, because we had metal siding, he put internal boards basically up as high as a pig would be. So that way, because what they do is they slam their body against it and get comfortable, they can bow out the side of a building.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. So you'd have to reinforce it.
Yep. That could just be reinforced with just like what you said, though, like the metal, I forget the word for it, but the corrugated metal, that kind of stuff. Just put that around. I could just put that around the outside of it to reinforce it.
You might have to put boards on the inside.
Well, yeah. But I think, what do you think, though, if I would just put that halfway up, that would be fine around the outside for support-wise, as long as we reinforce from the inside?
Are you looking to raise a commercial breed or a cooney?
We looked at the coonies, but I think they root too much for what we, in the area we have. They get a little bit too big, and the growing length is too long. So there's these people that live close by that are always selling their little feeder pigs. They just call them feeder pigs for like $50. So that's all. We were just going to get a couple of those and put them out there.
So they're probably a commercial breed, which means that they're going to get big.
Yeah, I would say, I have to read more about my pigs. I've been reading on my chickens, so.
Yeah, no.
I have to read up a lot more. I have to read up a lot more on the pigs yet.
Yeah, you'd have to take some kind of wood to reinforce the metal building around the bottom, because they could take the whole thing down.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, just because they're pigs. I mean, they can knock you over. You know what I mean? So and commercial pigs are more likely to root, and commercial pigs get really big. So they definitely, are pretty strong.
Okay.
Like klutzy strong, if that makes sense,
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah. Yep.
4 months.
Janice. Yeah, Janice, that's why we were wanting to get something that was a shorter, feed out, I guess.
Makes sense.
So that's.
Yeah, we have 2 feeders for our boars, and because they're boars, they like to. There's all sorts of boar shenanigans going on in there. And so one of the things that we had to do was Ryan cut one of those blue food grade barrels in half, and that's how we feed them, because they need their separate area, because they go back and forth to each other's feeder. But he finally had to put some kind of wire with a plastic coating over it, and then screw on some hardware, because they kept breaking the wire on the feeders.
Wow.
Because they knock it up in the air and stuff like that. So, and those are cooney pigs, which are a lot calmer than the commertional pigs. So that's what they'll do.
That's what I like about the coonies. Though harvest time is longer, right? How many months isn't it like almost 2 years or something?
It's at least a year to 18 months, 12 to 18 months, for sure.
And then, if I'm remembering correctly, you get around 225-ish pounds of meat from one pig, right?
Well, no, they'll grow to about anywhere from 2 to 250
Uh-huh.
For a male. And but that's just live weight. Then you have to, the meat will be a lot less. So whereas when we did the 2 commercial hogs, we had about 600 pounds live weight for the 2 of them, and we came home with 413 pounds of pork.
Okay, that's where I was getting my 2. So, and they were how old?
The
At
meat
300.
pigs.
At 300, yeah.
So we bought them as feeder pigs the last day in January, and then end of August was when they went to be processed.
Okay. Hey, Ark Wildman Survival and Joe, Garden State Gardener. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, and Milk and Honey was talking about the water nipples. We wish we could have them. They freeze here too much. Even if you have a water heater in the drum, they freeze. And it's too much to go back and forth, teaching them how to use it and not. So we just go with open troughs.
Yeah.
But water nipples are great if you're in a climate that you can have them. Hey,
when
Joe,
are you going to be breeding your coonies again?
We're looking for signs of heat now.
Awesome. And then it was what, 3 months, 3 weeks, 3 days, something like that for.
Yep. That's the average for pigs. Ours are 116 days, give or take. So we'll see how this year's breeding goes, and then we will take it from there and reevaluate the herd.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the other thing we're thinking of is feeder pigs, and until we get coonies.
Get those buildings done.
Exactly. But I got to get on him about the chicken, and I'm going to be helping. Yeah. But you guys, I rely on my husband for so much stuff. So he'll be building the fencing. I will be the helper. I'm a really good helper. If I was to build the fencing by myself, it would definitely be some trial and error happening.
That's with everybody. How do you think he learned how to do it? Yeah. Right, Ashley?
Yeah, as I say, see, I'm the one that's going to be out there with the post grinder going like this, trying to get the T-post in the ground.
Yeah, awesome.
But no, really though, my husband, by the time he gets home from work, it's like 6:30 at night. So in the winter, like half the year, it's dark. Like he's not doing anything outside when he gets home.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he usually works like every other Saturday. Well, if I'm lucky, I'll get something out of him on that Sunday, but then sometimes he's just done for, and then he's had some health issues. So that kind of, I don't know how much help he's going to be moving forward here.
Yep. That's awesome. Ark Wildman, how are the prices? He's saying he just got back from the feed store. Hog feed, cow and goat and chicken and dog food.
Yeah, hog panel is good. Hog panel is good. Absolutely.
Broke Cowgirl said they pushed them in with the tractor bucket. Close. Yep. First thing we're going to be building is the extra chicken coop. Ark Wildman said prices are high. Yep. Yeah, and
our pig feed was $14 in 2020. It's now $20 a bag.
Wow.
$6.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, do you ferment your feed?
The pigs I do.
Okay.
The pigs I do. I don't do my chickens.
What do you mean?
Not the chickens? Okay. Well, there's certain ways. Go ahead.
I was going to say we put pellet feed in. We have a really great old school feeder that someone gave us, so there's hardly any waste. That's why we use it. It's like it came from a poultry farm, and it was like an old school metal feeder. So it holds a whole bag of feed, and I put that in there for the chickens, and then the turkeys, I put their feed in a round plastic feeder. The pigs I soak. So I start it like soaking it overnight, and then what it'll do is there's always a little bit left, so there's some fermenting in there.
Okay.
But I do know there's a lot of folks who will ferment their chicken feed in jars like over 3 or 4 days.
Huh. Interesting. Why? Why do they do? Is
It's
it like
good for their gut, and they use less feed. But it's also because it's more filling, and it's got more good stuff for their gut. Ours don't eat much in the summer. They forage, and with the cold climate, like I just leave feed out for them all the time. Let them have it. But that's why I use pelleted feed, because when it's crumbles, I find there's a huge ton of waste. If I use pelleted, I don't have waste.
Okay, interesting.
It depends on how many chickens you have. You know, we've got 27 right now, and we're going to add more. So, you know, fermenting just, for me, I just don't see the need for me.
Milk
If
and
I had
honey.
5, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to order your okay, there's a business opportunity maybe. You guys you need a feed store.
No.
Yeah. That's crazy. I don't think I've ever lived anywhere where there wasn't a feed store. That is nuts.
Wow. Yeah, I think the chicken feed we're feeding now is $20 or $21 a bag. And it's not, you know, Purina or anything like that. It's a Country Companion, but it's a pro layer feed because it has extra protein for the winter. Then we switch back to the one that's under $20.
We've got a question here. Hey, OTWP. What is recommended for a family of 4 for chickens? So your chickens are going to lay, if you're looking at chickens for laying eggs, you could have a chicken. We've got some chickens. We have a chicken out or 2 out there that's laying like 2 eggs a day. I know they typically lay about 1 a day. Sometimes you might have a chicken that only lays every other day. So it almost depends on what chicken you have, but I don't know. I like a good flock of 4 to 6 chickens. We've always had a lot of chickens, and we just add on to them.
For eggs and meat for the year. That's what you have to, that's something that has to be determined by what you eat. So I know that when we do meat chickens, we figure 1 chicken per week for us because we get a few meals out of it because there's only 2 of us. So then we add more if we decide we want more. Best egg layers for chickens. I would look in the hatcheries. You want to look for the breeds like Rhode Island Reds, White Leghorns, the ones that lay eggs at a high rate per year, because they will tell you how many eggs per year. And then like Milk and Honey says, you always want to add extra because sometimes things happen to them and you don't want to invest in having chickens that don't lay for the longest time, and then they start laying and you might lose one to a predator or something like that.
It's a good idea. Yep.
Yeah, that's why we're adding in extra, because we've been losing some of the original ladies, and so we figured it's time to make sure that we plan ahead. But yeah, I liked Rhode Island Reds, Golden Comets, White Leghorns. They were power layers, and they were massive eggs, and that's what we'll buy. And then I have some Easter eggers because I like them, or I have Lucy, my lavender Orpington, because she's just gorgeous and like a dog running to me when I call her. You know, so but I just don't want a whole flock of specialty.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger thing is make sure you get the high rate of eggs per year, and then you also
personality counts too.
Personality. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, my Rhode Island, I know a lot of people say Rhode Island Reds. I've not had an issue. Mine all got along. They were great. The Golden Comets they said, oh, they're gentle. They're so great. Oh my gosh, they would rip the feathers out of the Rhode Island Reds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard somebody say that their Rhode Island Reds, they thought they had attitude. And
Rich.
ours have never, they've never, oh, it was Rich, my old Swedes farm. And I've never had any that, at least that we've experienced. We've even had some that, like, we had one that was Mama Red when the kids were younger, and everybody called her Mama Redbird, and because she would come running to you. Where we lived, we could let them out in free range all the time, and she'd come running. She'd be the first one to come running to you, and she loved to be held, and the kids would walk around with her. I mean, and they were young too, like the kids were young, and they just loved it.
I think it's how you raise them too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always hold ours a lot when they're chicks, because that kind of ensures that they're going to be friendlier when they get older.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Milk and Honey said she likes the speckled Sussex and the Bielefelder. I don't know how to say that.
Bielefelder.
Thank you. One thing we never did when we had a huge flock of chickens, we never separated them. We had all the chickens in there together. We weren't trying to raise any special kind of chicken. We just let them all be in there together. I've never done that. I know that Little Frenchie and Big Texas, I know they separate their birds by breed. We've never done that. We put them all in there together.
Yeah, but if you're looking to send hatching eggs and stuff like that makes sense.
Yep.
We have a buff Brahma. Cowgirl said she loves Brahmas. We have a buff Brahma. She is the quirkiest doo-doo-doo there is. She just walks around like doo-doo-doo-doo. She's so cute.
Have you heard of the American breast chickens?
No, I'm assuming he means breasty.
Oh.
I don't know anything about them, but I've heard about breasties, and I thought about getting them because that would be good meat birds to have. But
hey, Christy Baum, thank you for coming in.
I don't know anything about them, but the buff Brahma I have they're hysterical. I like we have yes, very laid back. Yeah. And we have Appenzeller Spitzhalbens, which is not something I would have chosen, but they got the funky black and white.
Okay.
Hair.
Brampton Gardner, Rochelle.
Rochelle is hysterical. So funny. A lady had them because we've been buying pullets.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just show you a picture while you guys are. Here they are.
Mm-hmm. Bantams. I like bantam chickens too.
That's the Spitzhalben. That's what they look like.
Nice.
They are flighty, crazy birds.
Mm-hmm.
And they're loud.
Somebody was being a little too quiet. I had to go check on him.
Oh, yeah, he was really quiet.
Good. Sometimes you got to have that. Mom.
Yeah, that's with him. If you don't hear him, you know he's up to no good.
Oh, scared me to death. So they're talking about Cochin's chickens right here.
Huh.
Uh-huh. And a great egg and meat bird, so triple purposes.
Okay.
Good to know. I'm going to make a note of that. Maybe I should. Gosh, yeah, I'm going to get the meat birds. Got to get the meat birds first. But I love the idea of getting a breed of chicken that I'll be able to just process, so there'll be layers and meat birds. I really like that idea, but the first time around, I'm just going to get meat birds.
Well, you better get ready for pigs.
Yeah. And get ready for pigs, yes. I'm excited about that. Hey, on the pigs, so coonies you can't get bacon from, right?
Yeah, you can.
You can?
Yeah.
Is there a kind of pig that you can't get bacon from? I know this. I heard that it's basically when I think of deer meat, like you have your back strap, isn't that what bacon is basically, is like the back strap? Because I was told you can't get a lot of bacon out of some pigs, and there's some pigs you can't get bacon out of at all. And the people that were telling me this said you couldn't get bacon from cooney pigs, but they didn't have cooney pigs either.
Yeah, no. I mean, the reality of it is cooney pigs are desirable because they're a lard pig and they have marbled meat.
Mm-hmm.
And you are not going to get pork chops this size.
Uh-huh.
You're going to get smaller pork chops. And I mean, but supposedly the quality of the meat is a lot better because of the taste. Now, I've not had cooney, but I have had the Mangalitsa Duroc in Berkshire, and the Mangalitsas had delicious bacon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How much?
Mangalitsas have bacon.
How? Oh, and
they're similar to a cooney. They're heritage hogs that have.
It's the side meat bacon.
Yeah, it's just fattier.
It's
just fattier.
Mm-hmm. And wild pigs have no bacon. That's what Broke Cowgirl's saying.
Stiver's Homestead raises coonies, and they have said in one of their videos that the butcher that they started using said that it's the best type of pork that you can get.
What was that?
That's for the coonies. It was on Stiver's Homestead.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've heard the same about Mangalitsas as well. Like the straight breed, not the mixes.
Right.
How many pounds of bacon can you get off of a pig?
I don't even know.
So like if you were to have, when you had your feeder pigs harvested, were you able to tell them, I want this many pounds of bacon or processed, or did you take it down the first time, or did you do it yourself?
We took it to a processor, and they go over it with you with the chart of all the cuts. And they will sit there and say, okay, what do you want with this? What do you want with that? So they take a certain cut and they make the bacon, and that gets cured. And then there was another part of the pig that they made what they called ranch bacon out of. And we did that. Instead of getting large hams, we got 1-inch ham steaks because there's only 2 of us. So having large hams or pork shoulders is really hard for us to go through.
Yeah, I love a ham steak.
So so we got 1-inch ham steaks, and they were beautiful. They were beautiful. In fact, they got our 2 last ones in the fridge.
Awesome.
For tonight.
That's good news. So you do somebody told me that, and I was thinking, well, it had me thinking like, and I never had time. I haven't had time to like Google it to see where the bacon comes from on a pig.
Well, hang on. I'll show you. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Show me. That'd be awesome. Thank you, Jasper Pudding Face.
That's some great info on the pigs there.
It is. Books about ducks. Did I miss it? I didn't see.
I found a farm. What? Sorry, go ahead.
I was checking in with the chat, and it looks like Off the Wall Prepper had a question about ducks.
I'm not a fan.
I don't like, we had ducks when we had our big old bunch of birds. And the ducks were just some messy birds, and there were feathers all over the place. Well, we were in Arizona too. And at the time we were down in the valley. So that just means like outside of the Phoenix area on horse property over there. But, we had to constantly fill up the little pond or the little pool because we got a wader pool for them. But they would get their feathers everywhere. And the duck eggs, I wasn't a fan of the duck eggs. Like they were like the dirtiest. I know chicken eggs get dirty too, but these duck eggs, it's like grease on them or something. I don't know what it is with duck eggs, but oh my word, I didn't like it. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's not, look at that.
it's nice.
Yeah. Oh, trying not to get ham juice on my
That is a
computer.
beautiful ham steak. Oh my goodness. Yum.
Yeah. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, I found a local farm. There's two local farms that have websites and you can purchase and order their meat from.
Mm-hmm.
I found a new one. We've been using one, but I found a new one,
Mm-hmm.
and they're right now offering a half a hog because we don't have freezer space for a whole hog, but a half a hog for $200. That's
Wow.
processed. So I don't know if that's a good, I don't know if that's a good deal. I don't know how much even meat I would get. So I'm waiting for them to call me back because I just saw it yesterday. And so I emailed them last night and I'm like, yes, I would be interested in purchasing half a hog, but how much meat am I going to get?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds really cheap. Duck eggs are rich, great for baking. Yeah. I'm good with chicken eggs. I mean, we had them, we ate them, but then what happened is the family, once everybody had an opportunity to go and, bring in any duck eggs, they didn't want to eat the duck eggs anymore. They wanted to eat the chicken eggs. They're just the messiest birds. Thank you, Off the Wall Prepper, for coming in. Sure appreciate you.
Yeah, I find that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
find for us for wintertime, it's challenging with the water, and
Yeah,
it's
that would
just
be challenging.
the brooder was the most
Yeah.
disgusting thing I've ever dealt with,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not a
Oh.
fan.
Mm-hmm. Broke Cowgirl's asking half a hog for 200, and do you have to pay processing also?
No, it's just the flat. That's it's 200 for the half a hog. So I don't know if that's, and then it's obviously 400 for a whole hog, but I don't know if that's
Mm-hmm.
good or bad or.
We met
So.
some people here that we were going to get some meat from, and they were telling us like $3 a pound. They'd let us have it for $3 a pound or something. And when we bought half a cow, what did we pay? Now, mind you, it was a friend. He gave us a deal.
Right.
It was somewhere around $800-900 for half a cow. And
That's
that
a good
was
deal because
a couple of years ago.
the whole cow from the same farmer will run you about $2,500.
Mm-hmm.
It was like 24 or something for a whole cow.
Mm-hmm.
Now that does include the processing, but still,
Yeah,
it's a nice chunk of change there.
yeah. So okay, we've got to give the ducks a little bit of leeway here because they're saying where to begin homestead. They have a big area for their ducks, occasional messy egg. We had like 3 ducks, and it was, mind you, our property was only an acre when we had it, and with the house on the acre, and the house was like in the middle of the acre pretty much, so it was just behind the house. So they didn't have that whole property. We had a lot of chickens. Maybe we didn't have enough room for them. Just saying. Maybe it just wasn't ideal because also we had the little, swimming pool thing we had to fill up for them, and maybe they didn't have enough. All I know is it was not a good idea for us where we were. So apparently, maybe if you have them in it, maybe the area that you have them in, maybe they need a little more space, maybe a little more water. I don't know. But they didn't taste bad. I just didn't like them. I didn't like them because of the mess they made and their dirty little eggs. Yeah. Milk and Honey saying, ask if that includes cut and wrap.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd want to know how many pounds too.
Yeah, I put all that in my email. I was like, I need some more info, but it doesn't tell you that. It just, when you go to their website, you can order it, and then it just says, after you place your order, they'll contact you with how you want it cut and what you want cut. So I'm like, well, I have no clue, so let me find out some more information first.
Lemon pound cake sounds amazing, Gail. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're yum. A little over our time. Does anybody have any questions for Ashley? Thank you so much for coming in, Ashley. This has been fun. I'm
Yeah,
excited to see
appreciate
everything
it.
on your property come to fruition. That's so awesome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And look forward to seeing how your garden does and what kind of animals you guys get this year. Hey, Jeannie's Point, thank you for coming in. And thank you all so much for joining our live today. We sure appreciate everybody.
Good to meet you, Ashley. Thank you.
I hope
Yeah, you as well.
Yeah. I hope everyone has a wonderful Valentine's Day tomorrow and gets to spend time with your significant other. And next week, we'll be back to Tuesday. So next week, we'll be here and we have Annie with Back to Basics Homestead joining us next week. Oh, here.
And we'll be back to Tuesday next week.
Get back to Tuesday. Yep. Thank you all so much. You all have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.